We're going to read Mickey's Weather Machine. One evening, while Morty and Ferdy were getting ready for bed, a big snowstorm began. "Oh no," Ferdy cried. "We were supposed to collect rocks tomorrow for show and tell. Now the snowstorm has ruined everything." "Why does it snow in the winter, Uncle Mickey?" asked Morty. Mickey thought for a moment. "Gosh, I sure wish the Windy Weather Machine were here to answer your questions." "The Windy Weather Machine? What's that?" asked Ferdy. "Well, back when I was your age, I was given a wonderful birthday present," said Mickey. "It could answer any question about the weather." "Any question?" Morty asked in a very sleepy voice. "That's right," answered Mickey. "And best of all, it could take you anywhere you wanted to go to find out about the weather firsthand. All you had to do was, well, gosh, boys, just look outside." Mickey pointed out the window. When the boys looked outside, they saw an old-fashioned airplane sitting in the window. "Wow," exclaimed Ferdy. "Is that the Windy Weather Machine, Uncle Mickey?" "It sure is," Mickey answered. Suddenly he had a bright idea. "Boys, let's learn about the weather." "Blip, blip, blip, it's time for an adventure," Windy's radio announced. "Just climb aboard and I'll guide you through the seasons." "Well, boys, what are we waiting for?" said Mickey. "Let's take the Windy Weather Machine for a spin." As soon as they climbed aboard, Windy took off. Soon, Mickey, Morty, and Ferdy found themselves in the middle of a winter wonderland. "Let's go ice skating," Morty exclaimed. "Look," said Mickey, "Windy even brought you ice skates." After the boys had skated around the lake, Ferdy asked, "Why does the lake freeze in the winter?" "It's colder in the winter," came the voice from Windy's radio. "When the weather cools off, it eventually freezes or becomes solid. The cold also freezes rain and makes it into snow." "Boy, Uncle Mickey, Windy sure knows a lot about the winter," said Morty, very impressed. "Look, Windy brought us a sled too," said Ferdy. Seconds later, Mickey, Morty, and Ferdy were sledding down a snowy slope. At the bottom of the hill, the sled came to rest in front of a cave. Inside, a bear was snoring peacefully. "I'm sure glad we didn't wake him," Ferdy whispered. "The bear's in a very deep sleep called hibernation," Mickey explained. "In the winter, some animals, like bears and squirrels, fall asleep and live off the food they have eaten during the warmer months." "Hey," said Morty, looking around. "It's still early, but the sun is beginning to set." "That's because during the winter, the earth tilts away from the sun. We get less sunlight every day. That makes it feel colder, and the daylight doesn't last as long," Windy's radio reported. "Well," said Mickey, "since our day is almost over, I think it's time to go." They climbed back aboard the Windy and soon found themselves flying to a brand new season. "Where are we now?" Morty asked Ferdy. "It's spring," said Mickey, "and we're on a farm." "Look at all the baby animals," cried Morty. "Not only is spring a time for new flowers and plants to bloom," cracked Windy's radio, "but it's also the time of year when horses, cows, sheep, and pigs are born." "Let's see what Windy can show us about spring," said Mickey, as they climbed back and aboard Windy. A little while later, Morty and Ferdy hopped out of Windy and looked around. "Wow, it sure is windy," Morty giggled. "You know," said Mickey, "I seem to remember that Windy has some kites in storage compartment." Soon the boys were flying their kites up, up, and away. "Yippee," said Ferdy. "Why is it so windy?" The air is getting warmer, Wendy's radio replied. Warm air sometimes fights with the leftover cold air of winter. That's what causes great gusts of wind to happen during spring. Spring is also the season when all the birds and animals that went south for the winter come home, said Mickey, as the boys scrambled up a ladder to peer at a bird's nest. It's the time for the animals who have gone to sleep to wake up and begin looking for food. Just then, a big fat raindrop began to fall. Mickey pulled some rain gear out of Wendy's storage compartment. Hey, this is fun, said Ferdy, playing in the rain. It sure does rain a lot in the springtime. Rain helps the plants grow new leaves and flowers, Wendy's radio said. Achoo, sneezed Mickey suddenly. Blip, 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 Wendy's radio announced. Time to get to warmer weather. Soon, Mickey, Morty, and Ferdy were in the swimming trunks, playing by a beautiful big blue lake. That warm summer air sure feels good, said Morty. Not only is the weather warmer, said Ferdy, jumping into the lake with a splash, but the days are longer too. We can stay out here forever. That's because during the summer, the earth tilts back toward the sun. Wendy's radio announced, we get more sunlight every day. That makes it feel warmer. The daylight lasts longer. That's the opposite of winter, cried Morty. Almost, Mickey replied. Summer is my favorite season, said Ferdy. Ah, said Mickey, that's because it's when most families take vacations. May we take a vacation, Uncle Mickey? Morty asked. Wendy flashed her lights. Then her radio clicked on. I know the perfect place. Mickey, Morty, and Ferdy jumped back into the plane. Soon, Wendy landed in the middle of a cornfield. The corn's so high, shouted Morty and Ferdy as they jumped out. Farmers take extra special care of their crops during the summer to make sure that there is plenty of food to eat during the winter, said Wendy's radio. Speaking of food, said Mickey, let's eat. He pulled a picnic basket filled with goodies from Wendy's cockpit. Soon, night fell and the darkened sky was filled with summer fireworks. Mickey, Morty, and Ferdy watched the sky while they ate. Those fireworks are great, said Ferdy. So this is the best picnic, said Morty. I love the lemonade the best. I could drink it all day long. I like apple cider, said Ferdy, but we have to wait until fall for that. Blip, 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 sounded Wendy's radio. Climb in, boys, Mickey said from his Wendy's cockpit. It sounds as if Wendy's ready to take us into our next season. This time, Wendy landed right in Mickey's backyard. Wow, said Morty, it's windy like spring. What season is this? Asked Ferdy. It's fall, answered Mickey. This time the air is getting colder, explained Wendy's radio. It's fighting with the leftover warm air from summer to cause these gusts of wind. Why do leaves turn different colors during the fall? Morty asked Wendy. During the summer, trees make special chemicals that keep their leaves green. Wendy's radio explained, but they can't do that in the cold. So the green fades and then the leaves change color and fall off. Trees collect food through their leaves during the summer, said Mickey. They save enough food so that they can shed their leaves during the colder months. And sleep during the winter, like that bear we saw earlier, Ferdy giggled. I guess you could say that, said Mickey, smiling. Another important thing that happens during the fall is that the crops which have grown throughout the summer are finally ready to be picked. This is called harvest time, said Wendy's radio. These apples sure look ready to be picked, Morty said as he plucked one off a tree. Here's your apple cider, Ferdy, said Mickey, handing his nephew a glass. Suddenly, Mickey, Morty, and Ferdy heard the familiar blip, blip, blip from Wendy's radio. Time for me to rest, the radio announced. That's right, said Mickey. It's time for all of us to rest. Ah, Uncle Mickey, Morty protested. But as soon as he and Ferdy reached their beds, they fell fast asleep. The next morning, Morty and Ferdy woke up to see snow covering Uncle Mickey's backyard. Boy, I had some dream, exclaimed Ferdy. I dreamed we went flying around in the weather machine Uncle Mickey told us about last night. I had the same dream, shouted Morty. Let's go find Uncle Mickey and tell him all about it. When the boys got to the garage, a big surprise was waiting for them. There was Mickey working on an airplane that looked curiously like the windy weather machine. Maybe it wasn't a dream after all, Morty said. Maybe not, Ferdy answered. And maybe, just maybe, they were about to have the best show and tell their school had ever seen. The end.